Hello there, welcome to another edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, the only programme on television that's purely dedicated to answering your holiday, cruise and travel related questions. So if you have one, a question, a query, a dilemma for our experts, here's how to get in touch. Our website is www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. We have our own web page on the site. If you go to the clinic page, click on there, send us your questions to us through the website. You can also email us directly to clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or you can write to us by traditional post as well to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool L22 5NG. Now, whether you're looking to take a holiday, a short break, or just a weekend away, then the blue skies, the sunny days, the wonderful wildlife and the blue flag beaches of Wales could just be the spot that's waiting for us all to discover and explore. Perhaps a walk on the Wales Coast Path, take an adventure holiday, explore one of the historic castles, or take in a luxury spa. It all sounds absolutely fantastic. Here to tell us more about what Wales has to offer as a tourist destination is Dewi Davies from the Tourism Partnership of North Wales. Dewi, welcome along. Thanks for coming to talk to us about Wales today. Difficult to know where to start because you've got so much to offer, haven't you, really?
Well, it's a stunning landscape, stunning mountains, stunning coastline. That's just one reason why you should visit, but on top of that we've got our individual heritage and culture, and then you can escape into those real wild outdoors and have an adventure, high adrenaline or low adrenaline depending on how fit you are. You know, you can go climb the Snowdon Summit if you're super fit, or if you're a bit more casual you can take the train.
Yes, and there are many to choose from. But as part of your job as working with tourism, I presume you've had to try out all these features and all these outdoor activities just to make sure they're right for us to have a go at.
Well, I tried quite a few of the high adrenaline ones, but not every one. Paragliding, I don't think I quite do. But, you know, I don't mind the walking and the running and the golfing and the water sports. That's all real good fun to be had in Wales.
Yeah.
But that's part of what we do. We do try the products out. We go on learning journeys and see what the other parts of Wales are, not just north, but mid, south, and the Cardiff area particularly, because that's a real booming development place.
Yes. Now, one thing that does include almost all of Wales, north, mid and south, is the Wales Coast Path, and Lonely Planet has cited the Coast Path as a top thing to do in 2012.
Absolutely. This has been a 3-year project for Wales, and what we've designated is an 870-mile footpath right around the whole coast of Wales. It's the first nation to have a path going all the way around the coast. And clearly Lonely Planet have twigged onto this one and they think it's a must-do. But there are some absolute gems in that 870-mile walk. You've got the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path. That's exceptional, 186 miles. And then Anglesey itself, if you're going to go full circuit round Anglesey, 125 miles, real fresh air there. And of course, fantastic scenery inland and toward the coastline, where you might see some of our shipwrecks and our famous mariners who've inspired us to go to sea over the years.
Yes, absolutely. It's really interesting stories that come out of Wales, aren't there? And legends, stuff of legends, basically, isn't it?
Well, we've got our giants. We've got so many giants, you can't believe it. But yeah, we've got princes. We've got Prince Llewellyn. And then, of course, we've got our giants of literature and our giants of maritime. People have sailed to sea. People have rescued people. We've got giant castles. We've got giant houses and gardens, many National Trust properties here in Wales. And, of course, we've got the landscape. We've got art of landscape. Cuffin, one of our fantastic artists, he painted fantastic sceneries of the coast of Wales. And Tunnicliffe, if you remember PG Tips, ever collected PG Tips, they used to have pictures of birds, and they were all painted by a guy called Tunnicliffe, who was based in Anglesey for most of his life. You
tend to find that, don't you, where there are fantastic locations to paint, obviously, and great places to live. Also, the light has to be quite important, doesn't it? It's a little bit like Cornwall. You often find a lot of artists do live around the same area because it's a wonderfully beautiful place to be, and I'm sure Wales can offer that too.
It has a legacy of famous artists. Richard Wilson, he formed an artist colony in Betws-y-Coed. That's one of our beautiful inland areas near Conway. And then we've had Turner. He's done paintings in Wales. And many great people have provided these great sceneries, and they've been exhibited. And there are modern artists like Tunnicliffe, like Cuffin, but Peter Pendergrast, he does fantastic sceneries of sheep and the mountains, all very, very fashionable stuff.
Okay, can you see these in any particular areas, any shops, you know, places where they display things?
Yeah. The Oriel Morn in Llangefni on the Isle of Anglesey, that has a permanent exhibition of Cuffin's work, and it really is a must-do if you're anywhere near that. And of course then we've got an outpost of the National Portrait Gallery near St Asaph, Bodelwyddan Castle. You can see it on the A55, and that's been there for about 15 years now. But of course further south we've got the National Museum of Wales in Cardiff, and there's an absolute fantastic collection of contemporary and historic art there, from the Cézannes to the Monets.
Yeah.
The top-notch ones are all there, and it's a must-do if you're in Cardiff to spend a few hours looking at these great paintings and pieces of art.
Yes, and I've learnt to really, when you see these, and if you've got a few bob, you know, not that I have at the moment, but when you do, you might have to just substitute the print version that's available in the shop. But sometimes if you see these, you think, oh, that's nice, buy it then, because you'll often come back and it won't be there.
You're absolutely spot on there. I kick myself. I've seen this piece of art, contemporary, about £400, and it's never there. And a few years later on, you see it, it's going for thousands of pounds. That would have been a great investment. But the most best part of that is a scenery of Wales. If I have a picture of a scenery, a small location in Wales on my lounge, then I can enjoy it day in, day out. And it's emotional then, of course.
Well, of course, I mean, it's a bit, folks, like a souvenir, isn't it? You know, you used to take away a souvenir of your holiday, don't you? I don't know whether we still do that or not, you know, but there's plenty of opportunity in Wales, I'm sure.
Well, yes, I think if you're visiting Heartland Wales and in Snowdonia, you might want to take a piece of slate home with you. And you know, we've got producers who make fantastic stands, pieces of art, and very practical things like table mats. They're all things you can take home or give as gifts. But if I was down in Pembrokeshire, I'd really want to go to Melin Tre Gwynt, and this is where they make fantastic woven blankets. And you'll see these for sale in Fortnum and Masons at very expensive prices. And the same way, Trevelyan Woolen Mill, these are investments, not just for you, but for your family, for generations to come, because they're fantastic pieces of art.
But if you go to the mill, you might get a little bit cheaper than Fortnum and Masons, perhaps, do you think?
I think you could ask for a small discount. Why not?
Just mention your name, shall we do?
I think you can try it. I won't be that popular, I'm sure.
Tell them you sent them. Okay. St Asaph, which I know is somewhere close to your heart, was involved in a particular celebration, wasn't it, this year? Tell us what's been happening there.
Well, fantastic news for this small city.
Smallest in the UK, isn't it?
One of the smallest. St David's in South Wales is about 2,000 people, and St Asaph is 3,000. But the great news, it's been bestowed as a city. Part of the 60th Jubilee. Chelmsford, Perth and Armagh were also bestowed with city status. But the people have seen it as a city all these years because it has a cathedral.
Of course.
And it's quite a famous cathedral in Wales, because here is where the Bible was translated into the Welsh language by William Morgan and William Salisbury. And of course that piece of work has enabled the Welsh language to thrive. And of course it's the oldest surviving language in Europe. And of course we're very proud of it. And you can hear it on the street corners, which is something you don't hear in many other parts of the UK, of course.
This is true, absolutely. The amazing diversity of the landscape is something that always attracts me to Wales. You've got the beautiful beaches, the deserted beaches of Anglesey, which are fabulous, you know, in the winter or the summer. But you've got some of the highest mountains in the country as well, haven't you? And in your own country, of course, obviously. Well,
absolutely. Well, Snowdon.
Yeah.
The highest mountain in England and Wales, 3,570 feet. And it's a bit of a haul. This very last weekend, there's been a mountain race there, the Snowdon Mountain Race, where the fastest runner made it up and down in an hour and 10 minutes. But it takes me about 2.5 hours just to get up, on the train about an hour.
Yeah.
But what a great way to see Wales right from the summit of Snowdon. And of course it's in its own national park, Snowdon National Park. And of course there is also the Brecon Beacons in southeast Wales and the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path. Now the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path is the only coastal park in the United Kingdom. So 3 unique parks. And then on top of that, we've got 5 areas of outstanding natural beauty, and one's just been enlarged recently to include Llangollen. The Clwydyn Range is an area. of outstanding natural beauty. Do you know, it's at the same standard as the Great Barrier Reef. Well,
Wow.
that makes you think, doesn't it?
That's incredible, isn't it? You must have worked quite hard to get it to that status then.
Well, it's been carefully looked after for many years by the farmers and by the organisations that have promoted this as a status. And of course, it's been looked after for future generations and for future visitors, of course.
Now, Dewi, if we're going to have a little trip to Wales, we need to get a handle of the language a little bit, I think, don't we? And you've got some of the longest names of villages in the United Kingdom, haven't you? So how are we going to get our tongues around those?
I thought you'd ask me that one. Well, I've been practicing. So the longest named village in Wales and the UK and Europe and the world, I would argue, is Llanfair Pwll Gwyngyll Go Gerrych Chwern Drobwyll Llantysilio Go. That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
But it's a great place to visit because you've got a good retail centre there for crafts and woolen blankets and those type of things. But you can walk up and down the high street and find the building where the Women's Institute was first established, or walk right to the end and you come to the beautiful Menai Straits. And right on the Menai Straits is a statue of Lord Nelson there. He thought Wales was exceptional too. And nearby is the Marquess of Anglesy's statue. Now, if you're brave enough, you might care to abseil down this one every now and again.
Okay, kind invitation of you. Thank you very much for that. Well, stay there because we're going to come back to you and have a bit more of a chat about how easy it is to get to Wales. A few more things about what we can enjoy while we're there. But just want to tell everybody about our guide to cruising, our new guide to cruising. We've updated it, put a load of extra questions in there that I'm sure you'll find useful, and updated a lot of the information that'll help you if you're trying to make a decision or you've perhaps experienced cruising a little bit, you want to take things one step further. All you need to do is call 0871 423 4444 for a copy. There isn't two anymore, there's only one, so you just have to ring up and ask for one copy of the guide or a few for your friends and family. Calls will cost you 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. One of the best ways of doing it too is going to our website at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk and have a look and request your copy there. So while you're doing that, we'll take a quick break. See you back here in just a few minutes. Hello there, welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, and today we're exploring Wales. But remember, if you have a question on a particular destination or anything else to do with your holiday, cruise or travel anywhere you want to go, do get in touch with our experts, and here's how to. Our website is www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. The clinic programme has its own page, so just navigate your way to there and then send us your questions to us online through the website. Or you can email us directly through our own email address, clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, or you can write to us by post as well. Send us a postcard if you're going on holiday to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Dewi Davis from the Tourism Partnership of North Wales is still with me now. Plenty to talk about, some exciting things to do, and a few ideas about how to get there and what to enjoy when we're there. There's quite a few connections with Liverpool. Obviously, a lot of expat Scousers living in North Wales, aren't there? But the connections with the port go a little bit deeper than that too.
They do. There's a few Joneses, I'm sure, in Liverpool. And at one time, 10% of the population of Liverpool were of Welsh roots.
Oh, really? So it works both ways?
Works both ways. But by now, Liverpool is very close to North Wales. And in particular, when you look at the cruise visits to Liverpool, then it's a great opportunity to go to Llangollen. Chester's en route, of course. But Llangollen is where Wales meets the world. We have our fantastic international music estate there for every year, been going for 60 years. And of course, you've got the fantastic Dee Valley. And nestling in that valley is the Llangollen Railway. And it's a big year for the Llangollen Railway because of an investment of £5 million going on to extend the railway line all the way to Corwen. So it's going well up Valley, and some fantastic heritage sites to see near Corwen, like Rheg Chapel, which is owned by Cadw. Now, that's Welsh Heritage Department.
Yes.
Now, the Liverpool link is only an hour away. But of course, one of the main ports for cruising to North Wales is Holyhead in the North Wales area. And then further down, we have Fishguard, and then we go to Milford Haven. Now, that's a fantastic, very deep water port. And then some vessels actually go to Newport and Cardiff. So there's a choice of ports to visit. Holyhead and Milford Haven definitely are the busiest at this time, and they have medium-sized boats right up to the very large 3,500 passenger boats, vessels
Brilliant.
arriving.
So the thing to do, I suppose, is to have a look through the Round Britain cruises and see where they stop off at. Preferably choose a couple that go to Wales somewhere, and that means you can step off the ship, have a look round and enjoy sights and sounds of where you are.
Well, you've got different options, of course. In Holyhead, you can just enjoy the town and see the church, the local walks, or just go a little bit further out of town, under an hour, to Ellen's Tower, which is a Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, where you can see sea choughs and gannets, a range of exciting birds. And then just also on the island, you've got Beaumaris Castle. Now, that's one of our World Heritage Sites here in Wales. It's a must-do. But a lot of people leave the island, and of course they go into Snowdonia, and they go and see the different products. They can go underground in Llechwedd Slate Caverns, see where slate was excavated many moons ago.
That's what, when you were talking about picking up a souvenir piece of slate, I was thinking of the Slate Caverns, because you used to be able to go and have your name inscribed on a piece of slate to take away with you. Which, you know, and it's a very useful thing, isn't it? That's what Wales have been built on. You think of the many things you can do with it.
Well, we've exported slate for many, many years globally, and of course we still make slate. But there are new products. On top of the mountain above the Slate Caverns now, there's a downhill mountain biking ride. Now, this is a black run, so you've got to be very fit and very brave to do this. But you do it the easy way, because you get transport all the way to the top of the mountain, and then they'll let you down, and you come back into the Slate Caverns after having a real adrenaline rush.
That is an adrenaline rush, and you don't have to pedal to get to the top either. That's a bonus.
That's what I like. That's what I like. But of course, if you go to Milford Haven, then that's in deepest Pembrokeshire, and of course the great things you can do there, you can go to St David's Cathedral, smallest, very small. Our patron saint of Wales is St David, and in years gone by, one pilgrimage to Rome could be equated to 2 pilgrimages to St David, and to Jerusalem, 3 to St David equated to 1 to Jerusalem. So you can do your own pilgrimage to this fantastic small cathedral and enjoy the coastline as you go there, the Pembrokeshire Coastal Path. Stunning sceneries. And if you really want to go offshore, you can go on one of the small boats that will take you to Skomer Island or Stockholm Island, and then you can really see wild birds in their plenty. But Tenby is very nice, very close, Tenby and Saundersfoot. 3 beautiful beaches,
yeah.
Lovely wall town, and one of my favourites just outside Tenby is Narberth, small, quaint little village full of crafty things to look and browse and spend money on, of course.
Is the weather any better in Wales than it is in England?
Of course it is. We're on the west coast, we do really well. We have the great British weather, like everyone. But so many of our products and the investment over the years has been into wet weather destinations.
Yeah, of course.
So if you get a shower, which we get in Britain, you've probably got your brolly, but there's plenty of things to do undercover and not get too upset about it.
Now, how well are you connected with certain people, certain celebrities in Wales, Dewi? I'm interested to know about this. In particular, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, I believe. Do they really live on Anglesey?
They really do. Of course, the Duke, he's an air pilot, and he pilots one of the...
RAF, yes.
The very one. So he's based there. That's where the search and rescue department is. And clearly we know he goes out and rescues people. Isn't that fantastic for us to have that asset? And of course they enjoy the privacy and the security of a place like North Wales, and they can be seen enjoying themselves out in 1 or 2 shops and 1 or 2 restaurants from time to time. But just magic that on your doorstep, and of course the publicity that has provided to us has been priceless. The stories that have been going on the last few years. Yeah.
Do they live in a Welsh castle then?
I think they live. I think they live in a fairly quiet and private cottage. That's what I understand.
Okay.
But of course, you've got to respect the privacy of these people, and that's why they enjoy North Wales.
Sure. Because Welsh castles are not thin on the ground, are they? You've got loads of them.
We've got 641 castles, so it's more than one for every day of the year.
Yeah.
And 4 of those are World Heritage Sites. So Beaumaris, Conwy, Carnarvon, and Harlech. They're all fantastic fortresses, and they are again must-dos. But we've got other World Heritage Sites. If you're near Llangollen, you've got to go to Telford's Pont Cysyllt Aqueduct and Canal. This took a long time to build, and it's lasted 200 years. So it's a brilliant asset. And then in South Wales, if you were staying in Cardiff, then you could also do Blaen Avon, which is a fantastic industrial heritage site.
The thing that seems to come across to me, and I've always thought this, having taken holidays to Anglesey in North Wales when we were kids, is that it doesn't take long to go a couple of miles and you really can be in the middle of nowhere from somewhere very busy.
Very much so. You know, if you drive across the top of North Wales, it's 85 miles. And you do that in under 2 hours nowadays, and you just come off that arterial road and you're in the wilds very, very quickly. And, you know, that's the great fun of it. But north to south is quite a long haul. That's about 187 miles, if I know my figures correctly. But what a great experience, because when you drive through mid-Wales, it's a vast area that's less populated and stunning rolling hills there, as opposed to the rugged hills of Snowdonia.
So if we're driving along through mid-Wales, which, as you say, very rural, and we get lost, if the sat-nav maybe isn't as good as it is in other parts of the area, how do we, you know, we need to ask directions. What do we do if we come across somebody who only speaks Welsh? Because it could happen, couldn't it?
Well, I think very, very slim possibility. Most people speak English, but the majority of the Welsh people are Welsh-speaking people. There's about 500,000, and they're more populous towards the west of the country. So if you're coming down on the west coast, you're more likely to come across Welsh-speaking people. Yeah,
in Aberystwyth is a famous area, isn't it, for Welsh-speaking people, isn't it, who live there and study the university and things like that.
It's one of our 4 universities in Wales. And Aberystwyth, a traditional Victorian resort, fantastic beach, and still got a pier, and still got its own little tram line going.
Cliff Railway, yeah.
The Cliff Railway.
Go up to the top, can't you? Have a look.
It's still working, which is great. But it's a great place to mooch around, is Aberystwyth. And just a bit further down, just outside the town, is Aberaeron. Now, this is a delightful small hamlet where all the towns are designed in houses in a certain style. And just outside, there's a great National Trust property just reopened, Llanecheuron. And this is a large estate that's been superbly restored to be in typical top condition. But of course, just a bit further north, Portmeirion.
Yes, I was going to suggest that, talking about towns that are specifically designed, yes.
Yeah, an Italianate-style village. You can visit that, the Prisoner. You can stay in the hotel, stay in the self-catering, or just be a day visitor. And over 200,000 people go there each year. It gives you an idea that that is one of our top attractions, as is Bodmin Gardens, because that is National Trust, and what a great place to go, particularly in May each year, because you see the Laburnum March. But new for this year is a new food outlet, brand new food outlet, Furnace Farm, multi-million-pound investment, where you can get a taste of some of the special Welsh food products.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Dowie, for telling us all about Wales. We could carry on chatting for another couple of hours, I would think, about the many things to do, but we're going to have to leave it there. So thank you very much for telling us all about it. Look forward to a couple of good trips there this year and next year. Thank you very much indeed. And just a quick reminder about our first-time guide to cruise holidays, revamped and reworked. If you want a copy, remember, all you have to do is give us a call here at the Holiday and Cruise channel on our regular number, 0871 423 4444. Calls will cost you 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. One of the best things to do, as I say, go to our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, request your copy there. Well, that's all we have time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My thanks again to Dowie Davies from Tourism Partnership of North Wales, and most of all, thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.